Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FPL Yusuf, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today, we are back talking Fantasy Premier League. It is not the main one as of yet, but it is all around the Euro Fantasy League. We're going to go over some of the rules, some of the differences that are between both fantasy leagues, just to try and get everyone up to date and get everyone on board with it. I'll show you guys my team that I'm probably going to be starting the first game week, which starts tomorrow in. And I'm going to go over some top 3, top 5 players in each position and a whole lot more. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, welcome back, guys, to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. We've had a little bit of a break. It's been about 2-3 weeks without FPL now, but we are back. Obviously, tomorrow starts the Euros, and which means a start for the Euro Fantasy League. So without further ado, let's just get into this. Okay, so we're going to go over how team selection works first up, as this is obviously the most important. Now, a lot of the Euro Fantasy League is somewhat similar to normal FPL. However, there are a few differences with the way you select your team, the way you can substitute players in, which we're going to get into for you guys in this video. So first bit of advice on picking your team. It's exactly the same way. We start off with 100 million. You have to select a squad of 15 as you would on normal FPL. The only difference is as the tournament progresses on, that budget of 100 million goes up to 105 million. And obviously the pool of players you have to select from becomes a lot smaller as teams start to go out through the group stages. When selecting your team, I think the best bit of advice that I could offer is the starting 11, make sure that they are the players who are playing first, because you have the ability to, once that player has played, if you don't like the score, if they haven't returned well, you have the option to sub them out, providing your bench players haven't already played yet. So, for example, Germany kick off tomorrow in the Euros, so you want to make sure all your German players are starting. If by some chance they don't start off well and they have a bad game, they maybe lose, your players don't return, you then have an option to replace and to sub those players out, those German players out, for anyone who's currently on your bench who wouldn't have played, because obviously Germany are kicking off first. This is the same for captaincy. Now, you have to be mindful of this, is that when you're selecting your captain, make sure you put them in the team that's playing first on that specific game week, because it's the same as subbing out. You can change the captaincy choice to a player who hasn't already played yet, providing that it's not someone from the same nation that's obviously just finished the game or someone in that same game week. So planning wise, a little bit more to think about. A little bit more way to think about on how you set up your starting 11 as well. So yeah, don't be put off by what you see next on my screen, because like I've got some big players on the bench, but obviously that is the reason why. It is because they are playing later on in the game week, and I've got other players playing first. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Play your players who are playing first, get them into the starting 11. If they don't do well, you can take them out. And the same thing for captaincy, get it on someone who has the first game of that week and let them see what happens, and you can always change it after. Okay, so the scoring system. Now, the scoring system is fairly similar to how normal FPL works, with there's a few differences in it. Now, the main one being, and this is, I think, is going to open up a pool of selection of players which maybe you wouldn't normally see. So usually in Fantasy Premier League, on the normal FPL, a lot of players, especially in the midfielder category, kind of go for either wingers or they go for attacking midfielders. Defenders, it's always like fullbacks. People have got a high chance of assist rates. The centre backs and the CDMs don't really seem to get as much of a look in, because obviously they're kind of tied to a clean sheet if you're a centre back, and that's it. Maybe they'll go from a corner, but not really as much as a fullback. And the DMs, unless they get the odd goal or assist, they're pretty much racking up 2, maybe 3 points at best. This fantasy football on the Euros works slightly differently. So I'll put a picture of the rules of the scoring system in there now. So as you can see there is one for ball recoveries, which makes players like an N'Golo Kante for France, like a Declan Rice from England, like a Rodri from Spain, players who maybe you wouldn't necessarily gravitate towards on normal FPL. It does put them into the conversations, actually, maybe A, as budget enablers, because most of them are fairly cheap, but B, with this new scoring system, every 3 times they win the ball back, they will gain an extra point. Now, Kante in his peak back in the Premier League would have been racking up so many extra points if that was a thing. So I think it does give you a different dynamic to look at. Instead of going for the obvious fullbacks, wingers, attacking mids, it does give some options for maybe the centre backs or the defensive midfielders to be brought into that conversation. The other one that kind of stood out to me as well was the player of the match. Now, usually on FPL, obviously, if a player wins man of the match, the bonus points are kind of done by then. Obviously, it can help in terms of just like, it means they've had a good performance. But on this one, on the Euros, the player who wins player of the match will get, I think it says an extra point. So it's just something. So I think looking for players who are genuine match winners, I think maybe a goalkeeper having a good display, it could, these little fine margins are just stuff that we wouldn't usually get in like a normal FPL. So it does give you like a different route to go down if you are looking to try and be different or to try and switch things up a little bit. Going into later in the tournament, obviously, as we start to progress through the group stages, you will start to see you'll start to see teams going out, which means that you'll have to make changes in your team. Now, we do currently get 2 chips with this Get Euro Fantasy League. One of them is the wild card, which works exactly the same as old FPL. It's unlimited transfers for that particular game week, and then your team is set for that. So it's just unlimited transfers. You've got your budget that you've got, and you just make basically a brand new squad. Most people, I think, would probably want to use that up before we get into the round of 16 and the knockout stages, because as the tournament progresses, you will start to get more and more free transfers, because like I said, teams are going to be going out, so you're going to have to make multiple changes. Now, the other chip we have is one called Limitless, which works similar to a free hit, and it is that essentially you get a whole squad to repick from when after that game week's done, your team will revert back to the week you had before. However, the only difference between this and the free hit is this is unlimited budget. So you could buy the most expensive player in every position and put them all in your team for the Limitless chip, and it would be absolutely fine, which actually I do like better than the free hit. The free hit, obviously, you have to work within the budget restraints that you've got. But Limitless gives you unlimited budget, unlimited transfers, but remember, it's only for that game week. So the following game week, your team will be back to what it was before you activated that chip. But I think most people will end up probably using those chips fairly early on. Probably round of 16 will probably be your last point, because like I said, as you go forward, you start to rack up more free transfers, and those chips become less, what's the word, like less needed, I guess, in a way. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Chip strategy, not really a massive thing, but something just to think about. Okay, so as you guys can see on screen, this is my team that I'm going with. Now, my team is, I'm recording this currently a Thursday afternoon, so there's still about 24 hours to go before the first game kicks off and the team has to be locked in. So I won't go through all my team. I'll just go through some of them, and the idea of maybe potentially swapping out to other players. So in goal, I've gone for Costa from Portugal. Now, Portugal have had a great qualifying campaign, only 2 goals conceded. They should be topping their group. They should be going through with bare minimum 1 clean sheet. I'm expecting 2, maybe 3 on a round, because they are so good defensively. But I think for me, it was a toss up between Costa or Pickford. And the reason why I've gone for Costa is just he's 0.5 million cheaper, which just allows me to stretch that budget a little bit elsewhere. So yeah, Costa for me for Portugal, starting in goal. To the back line now. So I have got Virgil van Dijk in there. And this one was a tricky one, because I had Frimpong and I took him out because for 2 reasons. Number one, I couldn't guarantee him a start. It seems that Denzel Dumfries is preferred at that right back spot, which means Frimpong will probably be coming off the bench. Now, when he comes off the bench, it does either usually end up being at right back, right wing back, or right wing. So there's potential for him to get attacking returns, 100%, but I couldn't guarantee it. So I thought Van Dijk, set and forget. He's going to play every minute of the tournament that Netherlands is there. There is an outside chance that he is actually on penalties. Now, that's not the reason why I have him in my team, but it would be an added bonus. He did take a penalty. I think it was towards the end of the qualifying, and it was a clutch one that they needed to score, and he did step up and take it. So, yeah, just food for thought there. Van Dijk, obviously, a little bit more on the expensive side, as you would expect. But, yeah, definitely one, if he is on penalties as well, it's going to bring a whole different dynamism to how the team's set up. Wout Faes, as you can see there. Now, this one is someone who I think probably as we get closer to the deadline will start to rise up in percentages. He is a starting centre back for Belgium, who's currently coming in at 4 million. Now, Belgium should be going through their group. They should be keeping some clean sheets in there. And at 4 million, I don't think you can really complain too much for that. He's someone that you'll probably want to rotate as quote unquote bench fodder, but he is more than viable to start certain games. The other defender that I will be rotating with is Mitchell Spack. I probably butchered that name, but he's another £4 million defender from Germany who's looking like he's going to be playing at left back. Now, there is potential that he may be replaced with Raum, that they might rotate at left back, but I think at 4 million again is someone that you can rotate with Wout Faes and just bring either of them in depending on who's got the better fixture, or who plays first at least. So yeah, for me, he's another bargain at 4 million. I don't think you can really go wrong there. Now, the other defender that I was looking at was a toss-up between Mark Guéhi and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm still not sure which way to go about it. Guéhi is 1 million less than Alexander-Arnold. However, Alexander-Arnold's looking like he's probably going to play it at centre mid. And as an England fan, I do expect him to actually start the game. So set pieces, corners, free kicks, he's going to be on pretty much all of them, as England don't really have another main set piece free kick taker who's a threat and can actually score them. So I think right now, probably in my head, I'm leaning towards Trent Alexander-Arnold. But like I said, that million budget does free up a nice little bit of money, which allows me to make other moves elsewhere. So yeah, we'll see. But as of right now, it's a toss-up between Guéhi and Trent. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go at the moment, but I will confirm before deadline tomorrow. Okay, so on to midfield now. Now, this is where it gets exciting. First name on the team sheet, Kevin De Bruyne for me. I think he's going to be instrumental to how well Belgium do. He'll be on penalties, he'll be on free kicks, he'll be on corners, he'll be on everything for them. He is the captain. He will probably play 90 minutes every game. And he is the focal point. And I think he's actually quite fairly priced coming in. I was expecting him to be around 10, 10 and a half, but he's actually coming a little bit lower. So for me, I thought that was actually a fair and a good price as well. The other midfielders that I was looking at potentially was a toss-up between Bruno Fernandes, who, as you can see on screen, he is there on my bench at the moment. I'm still not 100% convinced with him. I don't know if I'm going to go that way or if I'm going to switch up and go someone else. I'm really not sure at the moment. It's a difficult one because if Ronaldo starts, obviously the set pieces, he will want to take free kicks. He will be on penalties, which kind of dampens Bruno a little bit. And I'm wondering at the price point of 9 million, is there somebody else that I could look at or maybe go to that's going to be better value for money for me? It is a difficult one, I won't lie. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it is. As of right now, Bruno Fernandes is in my team. But it is, yeah, I'm in an R about it at the moment. Xavi Simons is another player that I was sort of tossing and turning with. I do think he will start. For anyone out there who's sort of contemplating whether they should or whether they shouldn't, I do think Xavi Simons will start at 7 million. I think that's a fair price as well. I think he looks like he's got that right mid/right wing spot on lockdown. I don't think you're going to get 90 minutes with him, unfortunately. So I think bear that in mind if you are going to go there. You may not see the full game played by him, but I think he's still a viable option. And the last midfielder I'm going to talk about in this video or in this section is Florian Wirtz. Now, again, for me, this is one player that I'm really looking forward to watching at this Euros. Germany, as I said, have got a very good group, which I do expect them to be going through top. Should be 3 wins from 3. And he's just such a creative player, but he also offers a goal threat. And yeah, for me, as you can see, Kai Havertz is my captaincy at the moment. But there was a thought about making Wirtz captain on the first game week of the season. Currently at 8.5 million, I think he's also fairly priced for what he offers Germany, and also how attacking he actually is. So yeah, that is the midfielder section. We're going to get straight into the forwards now, and I don't know which one to start. So we're going to start. Let's just start with Kai Havertz, as he has got the captaincy, playing incredibly well for Germany at the moment. Has been scoring for them as well, which is obviously good news for a lot of us who are going to be owning him. Obviously, the reason why I've got him captain is because he will kick off the Euros. If he doesn't return, it doesn't matter. We can always change that captaincy. So yeah, I think Kai Havertz for me had a great end to the season with Arsenal. Had a great season with Arsenal, to be fair. Started the friendlies with Germany very well as well, scoring his goals. And I think he will be starting up front for them. So yeah, I think Kai Havertz for me, at the price point he's at, makes him a very, very smart option. And the last two, the obvious two, maybe the two obvious ones, the ones who probably most people are going to go for is Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe. As of right now, the bookies' favourites to be 1 and 2 in terms of top scorers. Mbappe is just leading that race. Harry Kane is expected to be second top goal scorer. And I've seen a lot of talk around Harry Kane, not so much Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe, I think everyone knows, France's main man. He will be in pretty much 99% of teams. I have seen a lot of people talking about this toss-up between Kane, maybe looking at Lukaku, Memphis Depay, Lamine Yamal again for Spain. There's a few other options you could go with. I just think for me, for Kane, even when I had him in the old FPL, he's one of those players that you just think, okay, he might go a game without scoring, but he just always racks up numbers. And he's had such an incredible season with Bayern. It's not like he doesn't know where the net is at the moment. So he's very hot at the moment. And yeah, I think England captain will be on penalties, of course. And 95% of the chance of the time, Kane will bury the penalty. Obviously, there was the one at the World Cup, which he unfortunately missed. He did score one of them, but he missed the second one. But yeah, Harry Kane for me, partnering up with Kylian Mbappe and Kai Havertz as the front three, I think just makes sense. Okay, so just some differentials on screen. I'm just going to go for 3. First one is Jorginho from Italy. Now, Jorginho will probably start for them. He will be on penalties for them, definitely. And like I said, with the whole ball recovery thing, I think it just gives Jorginho an extra arsenal of points to accumulate. So he's going to be in there at 5 million for me as my first differential. As you can see, he's got good fixtures as well. Italy, I do expect to do quite well in this tournament. So yeah, Jorginho is definitely good on that for me. Leandro Trossard coming in at number 2. Now, if Trossard plays for Belgium, I like him. At 8 million, I think is a very good price for him. It's just whether he's going to play or not is the big thing. They obviously have options. They've got Luka Bacchio, they've got Doku, they've got Lukaku, they've got De Bruyne. So they have got enough firepower up front. But for me, it's the same as Arsenal. If Trossard started every game, he'd 100% be in my team. But it's just, can you guarantee him the start? So it's a little bit more of a risk. But if you're someone who likes to take risks and likes to gamble on differentials, I think Trossard is a great shout for you. And finally, the last one I'm going to pick is Miguel Oyarzabal from Spain. Now, I really like him. He scored a hat-trick a couple of weeks ago in one of Spain's, I don't know if it was a qualifying round or a friendly, but he came off the bench after half-time and scored a hat-trick. I do expect him to start on that left-hand side. He obviously had a good season with Real Sociedad. Spain obviously have good fixtures in their group, so I do expect them to go through. So yeah, I think he's something different. He's something that he's under 10% owned. I do like him though. I do like him. I do think that there's potential for him to do well, and I think there's potential for Spain to do well. Now, obviously, you could put Yamal in here, but I think a lot of people are going to already be looking at him as a cheap forward as well. So I think I didn't really want to kind of add him into this list. I thought Orizabal was a little bit more of a rogue pick, shall we say? So yeah, just that is my top three on differentials, and hopefully, fingers crossed, one of them will come back with the goods. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. We are back. We are back with FPL content. Summer starting early with the Euro Fantasy League, and I will be updating and dropping videos each week, talking about the previous game week that's gone, looking ahead to the new game week that's coming up, and a whole lot more content from me. And hopefully just trying to help you guys get as best rank finish as you possibly can. So once again, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, if you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And I'll catch you guys next time.